And you're going to see look at Myisha Hines-Allen running to get in front of her. Don't you dare. Don't you dare do nothing. You better fall back. You better fall back. You better fall back when Devo step in front of you. I'm telling you, look, Myisha Hines-Allen, you are good with me. You good with me. You good with me. She hit the logo bomb on her, and she's talking, and Myisha Hines-Allen like, hey, get up out her face. Get up out her face. You want to talk to her, you got to talk to me.
There's a harsh reality about professional basketball that spreadsheets, analytics departments, and front office executives constantly overlook. You can't build a true championship contender using only offensive ratings, transition metrics, and pick-and-roll efficiency charts. If your locker room doesn't have a fearless player willing to protect the team physically and mentally, then every strategy on the whiteboard eventually falls apart. For the last 2 seasons, the rest of the WNBA viewed the Indiana Fever as easy targets. Opponents understood they could bump, hack, shove, and physically punish Caitlin Clark, the league's most dangerous offensive weapon, because nobody on Indiana was going to respond. The Fever developed a reputation around the league as soft, passive, and easy to intimidate. But during last night's brutal showdown against the Golden State Valkyries, something fundamentally changed. The soft version of the Indiana Fever officially disappeared. Welcome back to WNBA Pro, where today we're tearing apart the exact moment Indiana's locker room finally discovered its backbone. This isn't just about one heated altercation on the court. It's about the deeper psychology behind team identity, roster construction, and what happens when a franchise finally decides to protect its superstar. If you think Caitlin Clark's 22-point performance was the only reason Indiana pulled off that 90-82 victory, then you completely missed the war taking place beneath the surface. We're diving into the full story behind how Myisha Hines-Allen ended up in Indianapolis, breaking down the moment she became the Fever's ultimate protector, and explaining how that new layer of toughness—
Do what? Who trying to touch 22? What you want to do? We love that. We love that because for so long, we watched Caitlin Clark get targeted and get flagrantly fouled, people poking her in the eye, people knocking her to the floor when the game is not even in play, and none of her teammates would step up and defend her. That's a part of the reason why Sophie Cunningham went up to 1 million followers overnight, because we saw, okay, she understands the big.
Myisha Hines-Allen didn't come to Indiana expecting to average 30 points a game. She came to bring toughness, leadership, and protection to a team that desperately needed it. The 30-year-old veteran forward signed with the Fever during the offseason while most national media barely paid attention, but she has quietly become one of the most important pieces of this roster. And the story behind her arrival doesn't begin with general manager Amber Cox or head coach Stephanie White. It begins with Caitlin Clark herself. During free agency, Hines-Allen openly discussed why she chose Indiana. She talked about wanting to win and mentioned how exciting it would be to share the floor with Caitlin Clark, calling Clark one of the greatest talents to ever play the game. But then she revealed the detail that truly sealed the decision. Once she learned Clark personally wanted her on the roster, the choice became easy. Clark specifically identified Hines-Allen as someone she needed beside her, communicated that directly to the organization, and Indiana made it happen. That's franchise leadership at the highest level. Clark experienced firsthand what happened during her difficult 2025 season. She dealt with non-stop physical punishment, dangerous closeouts, repeated cheap shots, and multiple injuries while having almost nobody willing to step in for her. Eventually, she realized something important. To play her absolute best basketball, she needed protection. She needed teammates opponents would think twice about testing. She needed an enforcer presence beside her. And against the Valkyries, that decision paid off in dramatic—
I'm telling you, look, Myisha Hines-Allen, you are good with me. You good with me. You good with me. She hit the logo bomb on her, and she's talking, and Myisha Hines-Allen like, hey, get up out her face. Get up out her face. You want to talk to her, you got to talk to me. You want to talk to her, you got to talk to me. This is what we needed on this team. Somebody that's willing to be front and center, and that's with all the smoke. That's with all the smoke, okay? Just like Sophie Cunningham was right here. Oh, you want to? Yep, sit down. Sit down. Yep. This is why we love—
Golden State entered that matchup clearly trying to make the game physical from the opening tip. They knew they couldn't keep up with Clark's offensive creativity and processing speed, so the strategy quickly became about disrupting her physically. But Caitlin Clark refused to back down. Instead, she leaned directly into the chaos. She casually walked into a deep logo 3 from nearly 33 feet away and buried it without hesitation. Then she turned toward veteran defender Tiffany Hayes and started talking trash with complete confidence. She even blew kisses while jogging back down the floor, visibly frustrating the Valkyries in real time. Naturally, Golden State didn't appreciate being embarrassed like that. Near the end of the first half, tensions exploded when Clark aggressively swiped at the ball being held by Valkyries forward Janelle Salon. Salon immediately got in Clark's face, benches started reacting, and suddenly the situation felt seconds away from turning into a full-blown fight. But before any Valkyries player could fully escalate things, Myisha Hines-Allen entered the scene.
Take this. Eat the floor. Eat the floor. Okay? Now, beyond that, Stephanie White took to the podium, and I'm going to say congratulations, Stephanie White. You finally managed to say something positive about Caitlin Clark.
Hines-Allen immediately sprinted straight into the center of the confrontation. She planted herself directly between Caitlin Clark and the angry Golden State players, standing tall and delivering a crystal-clear message without even needing to say a word. If anybody wanted to get to Clark, they were going to have to go through her first. It was the perfect example of how a professional enforcer operates. She didn't lose control or commit some reckless foul that would hurt her team. Instead, she established a physical boundary that completely changed the energy of the moment. She stared opponents down, held her ground, and forced everyone to back away. And later in the game, when Clark got into another heated exchange with Kayla Thornton, Hines-Allen was right there again before things could escalate further. Every single time the intensity rose,
Talking trash, when she's hyping up the crowd, she's trying to juice herself up to really destroy these other teams.
Oh, yeah, on Aaliyah, 16 boards tonight. What is it about her game that continues to, I guess, elevate, whether it is boards or playmaking or making threes, as she continues in your former career?
You know, she just, she stretches herself. She accepts whatever challenge you give her. You know, she wants to be great. You know, Aaliyah comes into the WNBA primarily a back to the basket.
a lot of national media members have described this version of Caitlin Clark as finally playing with the dog unleashed. After spending years absorbing cheap shots and unnecessary physicality in silence, Clark now looks visibly more aggressive, emotional, and fearless on the floor. Against the Valkyries, she dropped 22 points and 9 assists, and for the season she's averaging roughly 24 points and 9 assists while playing some of the most confident basketball of her career. She's hunting shots aggressively, talking trash, pushing the pace, and completely taking over games
that I don't want to just completely get rid of, you know what I mean? I definitely want to be able to keep those things in her bag. So I you know, personally, I would like to see Aaliyah Boston down low a bit more. Pardon me. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get her down low as often, but it is what it is. But the big takeaway is Myisha Hines-Allen is down to pull a Sophie Cunningham, and she's down to fight, and that is very, very important.
Through 6 games, Hines-Allen is averaging around 5.5 points along with 4 rebounds per game. On the surface, those numbers look fairly ordinary for a rotational player. But her true impact shows up when you dig deeper into the game film and advanced metrics. Earlier this season against Seattle, with Aaliyah Boston unavailable, Hines-Allen stepped into the starting lineup and immediately made a major impact. She logged 27 minutes, scored 8 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, handed out 4 assists, and finished with a huge plus 16 rating while on the floor. Stephanie White even praised her basketball IQ publicly, explaining how Hines-Allen understands spacing, hunts easy scoring opportunities, and runs the same pick-and-roll actions with Clark that Boston normally handles. She's an intelligent passer from the high post, capable of creating clean looks for both Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. So this isn't just an enforcer who happens to play basketball. She's a genuinely effective, versatile player who also happens to be willing to defend her teammates at any moment. Indiana now sits at 4-2 after beating an undefeated Western Conference contender. With Sophie Cunningham bringing perimeter toughness and Myisha Hines-Allen protecting the interior, the identity of this team has completely changed. The old narrative about the Fever being soft is officially gone. Caitlin Clark is now leading a fast, physical, emotionally charged team that plays with swagger and aggression, and the rest of the WNBA is still trying to figure out how to deal with it. This is WNBA Pro. Subscribe right now if you want more deep dive analysis connecting locker room psychology, roster building, and what mainstream coverage constantly overlooks. And tell us in the comments, was Myisha Hines-Allen the most underrated signing in the entire WNBA offseason? And is her presence one of the biggest reasons Caitlin Clark is suddenly playing at an MVP level? Drop every honest basketball opinion below because Indiana looks like a franchise officially headed into a completely different era.